Everyone, welcome back. It's Melanie, your She Shed Scrapper. So today I am back with a one-page layout, and it is a soccer layout. I am using one piece of kind of pattern paper and then a bunch of supplies from my stash. I got the idea for this layout from Gia Aloha on Instagram. She used the same piece of pattern paper, and I just fell in love with that layout. And so I pieced together the layout kind of similar to hers. She had some amazing kind of tone-on-tone stars in her white space, and I didn't do any of that, but I am going to use this same green paper. I wanted it to be kind of at an angle, and so I had to figure out what size I wanted, I guess, and how to cut it. So I didn't want it from corner to corner. I wanted it kind of mid page to kind of towards the bottom, but not completely there. And I found out that I could not use my paper cutter, so instead I used my T-square and kind of drew a line so that I could cut it with scissors. And because I am not a very straight cutter, I then decide that I am going to distress the edges. It's not awful, but whenever I have to cut freehand, whether it be like I traced a circle and cut the circle out or whatnot, I usually distress the edges because I'm not a very good cutter. So now I'm going to kind of piece together the layout. I am using 3 photos and trimming them down quite a bit. One is a team photo and 2 are action shots. And so I am going to cut one down, I believe, to 3x4. And then the other one is going to be, I believe, 3x3. I wanted kind of a grid idea in the middle of the page here. Another option would have been kind of to overlap the photos and kind of just group them together, but I really kind of wanted the linear effect, I guess. So you can kind of see I am piecing together this layout before I tape anything down. That green paper is not even taped down yet. But I had these film strips in my stash. I think I got them from a Not Just for Boys kit, and love the black and white film strips. So I wanted to try to use those. Initially I thought I would put a tag or a couple of tags in that open space to the right, but was going through my stash and found the film strips and decided to go with those. I then went into my kind of Ziploc bag full of soccer embellishments and papers and found this little tag and decided, even though it's yellow, that I would incorporate that and try to incorporate yellow somewhere else on the page. And so I found that large jersey as well. That is from Hobby Lobby. I don't know if they're still available. I got that sports pack a long time ago. So I'm just going to kind of piece it all together and layer the pieces. I did find black and white twine, which is really fun, that I did add to that tag. And again, like I said, I will bring in yellow somewhere else in the layout just so that is not kind of out of place. I think it is, well, maybe it's Echo Park, the MVP Soccer collection. I was thinking it was Bella Boulevard, but I think that's a different one. I think the Echo Park one is what that yellow piece came from. And so I will kind of use some of that. I will use a couple of soccer flares from Scrap and Happy Studio. What else do I bring in? I don't know. I have just a bunch of soccer goodies. I kind of have started to separate out the sports and keep them separate. So then, I can just grab that soccer bag or grab the football bag or whatnot. And I think it's going to make it a lot easier just to have everything separated out. Beforehand, I had just sports in one bag. And so every time I'd try to scrapbook sports, I'd have to go through and separate each sport looking for the one I was then scrapbooking. So I think this will work out a lot easier. So I did want to map my photos. I wanted the white and the black. I did the black border on the outside of the layout, and so I wanted to bring in that black somewhere else. And I thought doing the black and white mats would help the photos stick out a lot better. I decided to keep the bottom shoe photos on the same piece of paper instead of like separating them into two separate photos. It's just all on the white piece of paper, so there's no green coming through between the photos, if that makes sense. So again, just piecing it together, you kind of already saw how it is going to look. It's just a matter of getting things taped down. That large soccer ball was out of that same Hobby Lobby sports pack. So I think there was basketball, baseball, and football in that sports pack. And I believe last time I went, I don't go very often anymore. I believe they had it this last time I went too. So here's that sticker sheet. I believe this is one that was left over from a Not Just for Boys kit. I'm thinking the film strips came from that same kit as well. But I have since actually bought a second one of these sticker sheets just because, well, initially my youngest played soccer for, let's see, second grade, so 3 years. And then my oldest decided to sign up this past fall. So if you've been following along, you have seen, I've talked about it a little bit, that he has absence epilepsy. And so we weren't sure if he was going to get cleared for football. So if he wasn't cleared for football, he was going to play soccer. Turns out he wanted to try it anyways, even though he was cleared for football. And so now he's the only one playing soccer. We're trying to convince my youngest to get back into it, but because they were on the same team this past fall, I think it kind of ruined it for him. So hopefully he'll get back into it in this coming fall when my oldest will age up. Anyways, I also have this fun sequence, again, from that Not Just for Boys kit. There's little soccer balls that are kind of that clay and then green, black sequins. So you can see that I'm kind of scattering them about. That bottom left cluster, I did bring in that flag and then a saying that is in yellow as well, I believe. So again, two different places that the yellow is. Ideally, I probably would have liked to get some yellow up in that top left cluster up there, but it is what it is. It's not that big of a deal. It's at least in more than one spot. And then I did add another soccer ball flare from Scrap and Happy Studio, as well as that defense sticker over to the right, just to kind of cover up where the jersey ends, I guess. I just don't like leaving things like that open. I like tucking them in. And so because that wasn't tucked all the way under, I decided to cover that up with that flare and just really like how that is kind of completes that cluster over there. Again, just kind of still scattering these sequence throughout. I doubt this is still available. I got it quite a while ago. But I hope you guys enjoyed this layout. I will link the MVP Soccer collection as well as the Reminisce Soccer collection because that is what that pattern paper is from, a Reminisce collection. But I hope you guys enjoyed this layout and we will see you next time. Bye, guys.